Ooh. Hello everybody, welcome to the MaffmanJones movie channel. I'm your host John Maffio. I'm a little drunk right now, but I wanted to talk about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, directed by Quentin Tarantino, one of my favorite directors of all time. He's made a lot of great movies. Pulp Fiction is one of my favorite movies ever. And I'm in Ocean City, Maryland, and I went to the Fox Theater Sun and Surf last night to go see it. 2.5 hour movie, 2 hours and 45 minutes. And I went to watch it at 10 o'clock, so I didn't get home until past 1. And I think I love this movie. There's a lot to love about it. I think if you love Quentin Tarantino, I think, just by proxy, you'll just enjoy a lot just by being a fan of Quentin Tarantino. But I think there are people who might not be a fan of this, depending on where you lie on movie likes and tastes. For example, my mom is seeing this movie next weekend. I told her she's gonna like it, but I think she might not like it. I don't know. It depends. I think this movie does a great job of throwing you into the 1960s, the late 1960s, and giving you the vibe of what Hollywood was like in the late 60s. I think the way Quentin Tarantino implements actors from now into TV shows of old is seamless. And if you haven't had any clue about old school movies or old school television shows, like the show Bounty Law that's in the movie, when they implement Leonardo DiCaprio into this show, you feel like this is a real show that happened in the 50s before the downfall of his actor, the downfall of his career. This movie has a lot going on. It's a 2 hour, 45-minute movie, and I've seen a lot of complaints on Twitter about the way they portray Sharon Tate and the way certain things are enlightened. And the one thing I have to say, though, really quick off the bat, is that it's been thrown out into the universe that Quentin Tarantino has a foot fetish. And whether or not you know that, I think it's pretty apparent that you'll leave this movie thinking about feet, because Mr. Tarantino uses every opportunity he has to show feet in this movie. Whenever characters are in a car, they throw their feet on the dashboard, like boom. If Sharon Tate's watching her own movie in a movie theater or a local theater, she throws her feet on top of the seats on a second row, like and that doesn't take away from the film, but it can be distracting if you're noticing, like, wow, like this, I just see feet in every other scene in this movie. What's going on here? There's a scene where there's like 4 or 5 people barefoot hanging out in a ranch just watching TV, and it keeps cutting to the same shot over and over and over again. Quentin Tarantino has you can't even describe it. Like, he's one of those filmmakers that love cinema, and if you yourself love movies, then it's impossible to watch a movie of his and not, even if you don't enjoy his movies, at least feel his passion. And you feel his passion here as well. You just feel his passion for the behind the scenes makings of film and television, and just the media industry in general, entertainment industry in general. You have all these actors that come in here. Damian Lewis is Steve McQueen, and it's one of those weird things I keep thinking about. Damian Lewis from that show on Showtime. I can't even think of it right now because I'm. Ooh. But he's not recognizable at all. Luke Perry, posthumously, is in this movie, and he doesn't have a lot to do, but it's nice that he's in this. Margaret Qualley, who was in The Leftovers, listen. Leftovers is one of the best shows you'll ever watch on any program, period. But I loved her in this movie. Who else did I love? I love that Maya Hawke showed up, and she's the daughter of Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke, and she's big right now for being Robin in Stranger Things. She has a small role in this movie, but she has such an impact in her little moment in this movie, and I want to see her in more stuff. Leonardo DiCaprio as Rick Dalton is incredible. Like, what else do you say? Every time Leonardo DiCaprio makes a movie, it's an event, because I think he makes great choices, and this is no different. And him working with Quentin Tarantino following Django Unchained is it's inevitable, and he's great. But I mean, people have been saying it, but Brad Pitt as Cliff Booth, the stuntman of Rick Dalton, the main movie star character of this movie, is great. Brad Pitt is in his mid-50s, and if you didn't know that, you would think he's like 34, based on this movie. Just, how do you look like that at 50, at 50-something? Things you strive for. But I think Quentin does such a great job of just capturing the vibe of the 1960s. It makes me want to be living in that time period. I just watching old school Western television shows and just seeing just the bombastic nature of watching a film in the late 60s. It really, if you weren't living during that time like me, it makes you jealous, and it makes you really feel like you're in that moment. I was transported. The music is great. Ooh, what the fuck was that? The music is great. I think a lot of the music was in the trailer, so it kind of was like, oh, we're hearing this from the trailer again. But it shouldn't be a criticism of the movie. I think this movie does a great job of implementing music. It didn't hit me until the very end. It's not spoiling anything, but you know, like how in some movies like The Dark Knight, where the title card shows up at the end of the movie, and it's like the tip-off for, yep, The Dark Knight. You just watched The Dark Knight. So, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has that. So the last frame of this movie has the title show up, the title card, accompanied by fanfare and a musical cue. And that moment is where it hit me that I love this movie, because it made me realize what I was watching this entire time was, in the sense, the essence of late 60s cinema, late 21st century contemporary cinema. And Quentin Tarantino captures that beautifully. And it makes me, I don't know. A few days ago, coincidentally, I was watching Jackie Brown, because it's been playing on HBO or something for a long time now. It's just kind of just looping a lot. And I never really liked, not that I didn't really like Jackie Brown, but I didn't gravitate towards it like I would a Pulp Fiction or an Inglourious Basterds or a Kill Bill Part 1 or 2. But this time I watched it again, and I took a different frame of mind, and I just really, it hit me. The story doesn't flow in a way that you would want to for a moving movie, but if you're into what's going on, it really works. Just characters having conversations and the plot slowly progressing towards something. And that's what this movie reminded me of. It kind of takes a lot of the great elements of Jackie Brown and implements a lot of other things and brings that here, where it'll be 2 or 3 characters just doing whatever, just living life, going through the day-to-day activities, their routines. You have Sharon Tate Sharon Tate has a minimal amount of dialogue in this movie, but she serves a purpose of being, in my opinion, with the way I interpreted it, she was like this princess. So Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, so at least the way I interpreted it, I'm so drunk, Jesus. She's like a princess, and you have this grandiose world where the castle is Hollywood Hills, and you have all these very larger-than-life characters who happen to be a part of this. Why is there a pocketbook on the floor? That's Nicole's pocketbook. Whatever. Yeah, so she had dialogue, but it didn't really mean anything. There's no arc for her. She just kind of is this innocent flower who is a part of this big thing happening in the world right now. And she's just beautiful and talented and amazing. And if you know real-life events, you know that things took a turn for the very tragic. But without spoiling anything, Quentin does this thing where he turns and twists this real-life story into a weird, fascinating fairy tale, and it works so well. But it doesn't really hit you on the first viewing until the end of the movie. It really is one of those movies where it depends on what frame of mind you're in. If you're in the frame of mind where you understand what you're watching, it's great. But if you're looking for a fast-paced movie that moves really quickly and kind of gets to the point right away, you're going to be sitting here thinking, why is this scene going on for half hour long? Looking at your watch, they're still in the same location. It's been 25 minutes, and it's gonna throw you off. The way that Mr. Tarantino plays on the history and plays with the arcs of these characters, like the Cliff Booths, Brad Pitt, and the Rick Dalton, Leonardo DiCaprio's of the world. really works. Super crowd pleasing, and it leaves you on a very satisfying note. What the fuck did I just say? Very satisfying note. Still going. Wow. What else can I say? Alright, this is the part where I'm gonna have to cut out a little bit because I'm just staring into the wind now. Leonardo DiCaprio's big arc is that he feels like he's a nobody, or in a sense that he's becoming more useless. He was a big star in Hollywood. He was a star of a big Western show in the 50s, and he's kind of just looking for work now. He was a big star, and he lives in a great house, and he's living the great Hollywood life. But career-wise, he's not doing so well. So he gets a job on a new Western show with Timothy Olyphant, who was a great actor in his own right, by the way. It's an incredible scene with him and this 8-year-old. And this 8-year-old is so articulate in what she says, and he's reading this book that's about him being useless in life, and it's connecting with him and correlating with his trajectory in life in that moment, and it breaks him down. And I'm just thinking about it, and I can't help but think that Mr. Tarantino feels something like this, that he feels like the older he gets, the more useless he is, even though he's created all these incredible films. The movie itself is really good, but when you add context from the cast and the crew, I think it really means a lot more. Also, if anybody can clarify, I know Burt Reynolds is supposed to be in this movie, but I can't tell if he was supposed to play Bruce Dern's character or Al Pacino's character. I'm pretty sure it was Al Pacino's character, but if anybody can clarify that for me, that'd be great. I have a laptop right there, but I am not gonna go check right now. But here's the bottom line, as Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson would say. If you are a fan of Mr. Tarantino's films, you need to see this. There's just no question about it. You need to get context on it. You need to watch it in full and just soak yourself into this world and develop an opinion on it for your own. If you're not a fan of Mr. Quentin Tarantino, probably not gonna like this movie. There's a moment where he takes like 2 or 3 minutes just to show close-ups of signs lighting up and hearing the actual glow switch, it took me into the world more. Yes, I really think that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a movie worth seeing. I think this is an important movie for the time that we're in right now, with streaming services and big budget movies taking over. If you want to support original visions from auteur directors, you should go see this movie. Even if you don't end up liking it, just go so you know you saw it, so you can at least say in your mind, in your heart, in your soul, that you watched an original movie. And I think this movie will benefit and grow in time. I think it will, because of how authentic it is in capturing the 1960s. And I just think it's very restrained, and a lot of the gore and violence is saved for the last act of the movie, and without spoiling anything, it really works. It really works. And it's so much fun, and I laughed multiple times. And there are offensive things too in this movie, but I think they're offensive if you're being stupid, because, not to say you're stupid, but this movie takes place in 1969, and a lot of things that would be offensive now weren't offensive 50 years ago, 45, 50 years ago. So it only makes sense that a lot of things that Quentin Tarantino is going forth with is in this movie, because it helps accurately portray how that time period was like, and it literally brings you into that time period. That's all I have to say right now. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, ring the bell if you want. More videos coming soon. I won't be drunk for those, but if you enjoyed me being drunk talking about a movie, I will do this more often. I am on vacation, so I don't know, I'll have to just buy a 6-pack of beer and I guess drink it and watch a movie. But if you enjoyed this, let me know. Just tell me anything you want, because whatever you guys want, I will give to you, because you guys are important. I'm chopped liver, I'm jack shit, but if you're enjoying the content, then that's all that matters to me. Thank you for watching. See you next time, and I'm gonna get some sleep now. I'm gonna check my shoes later too, because they look clean. But as a sneakerhead, I don't know, I might have fucked up. If there's any dirt on those in the morning and I look at those as a sober person, I'm gonna be pissed. Deuces. Love you all. Give you a hug. Squeeze tight. Squeeze tight. Sleep tight. Or good morning. Or good evening. Or good afternoon. What do you have? Coffee? Do you have iced tea? What do you drink? You know.